Anyway, it's been a long time since I've done a sit-down video, so it feels a little bit strange. Hang in there with me because this video is important, and if you're watching this video, believe me, you're gonna need to watch it all because you're gonna get a lot of useful information out of here and just my perspective on things. And I really feel like it's gonna be a good video. So welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, I am Dor. I have a son who is 16 months old, really soon, like next week. And I am pregnant with my second. I'm gonna assume most of you have watched my birth video with my son Fox, and if not, I'm gonna link it down in the description box. I really feel like I was super lucky, and I am crying every time that I watch this video. But even though it was such an amazing experience, there were a few things like hospital policies kind of things that you cannot change. That's why I've decided that this time I am gonna go with home birth, and I'm gonna get into details in a little bit. I think I'm gonna divide this video to 3 segments, so it will be easier for you if you're looking for a specific kind of information. And yeah, I'm gonna have the timestamps down in the description box. So the first segment of this video is going to be like why I've decided to go with home birth this time around. The second portion is going to be home birth in general, like all the important information you need to have or want to know. And then the third segment, I'm gonna have basically my birth plan and like my expectations, my hopes. I was a little bit hesitant to talk about this, like my decision, because anything can happen. We can find out things that will no longer classify me as low risk, and that's a really important portion of it. Like, you need to be low risk pregnancy in order to be fit to a home birth. So lucky, as of what we know now, I am. I've mentioned my birth with my son Fox, but even though it was the most amazing thing I could ever imagine, like really best experience, I would do it all over again. I'm not regretting anything. It's just as like a second time mom, like a second time being pregnant, I feel like a lot more confident in my body that I can do it. I really feel like this time around that's the right thing for me. There were a couple of things that really bothered me and this whole like hospital experience. First of all, I could not reach anyone. My husband tried like so many times in like our way to the hospital to explain that I'm coming in, and we didn't, like, nobody answered. I just walked in. It was kind of like a bummer and like kind of stressful because I didn't know if they will let me in, but they did. Obviously they saw me in pain. I guess the second thing was the triage experience. Even though the midwife there, the nurse, was so amazing, she was so nice, I could feel that she was stressed because she knew no one can take me on. And obviously because it was a triage room, you just have a toilet, it's a small room, and if you've watched the video, you've seen I've stayed with my shoes because I thought it's going to be like 5-10 minutes. We ended up being there for an hour, which is very not normal, but things can happen. Just no midwife was available to get me. And then the third thing, which is the major reason why I want to do a home birth this time around, is that you cannot deliver inside the water. I'm pretty sure it's not allowed anywhere in the States, but you know, let me know if you know anything different down in the comments. It's just a policy of hospitals here. You can be in the water, but in order, like, you have to deliver, like you actually have to have the baby outside of the water, which is like missing the whole point, but whatever. And I know it's like high expectations for me because I know a lot of hospitals don't have tubs at all. They just have showers. And for me, the tub is the most important thing. I loved it so much. It was the thing that helped me the most, more than hypnobirthing, pressure points, more than anything. The water was a magical cure to the pain. Obviously, it didn't went away, the pain, but it was subside substantially. If I had the chance to stay with the water, maybe it would have been like a lot easier and a lot faster. From what I've heard and what I've experienced, I really feel like it would have made a little bit of a difference for the better, obviously. And I'm curious to know if anybody else here who's watching this video is either interested in home birth, done a home birth before. So let me know your stories because that's all I want to hear. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. But then moving on to the second segment, I didn't know anything about home birth here in the States, not anywhere basically. Personally, I know no one who did it. I just know it's a possibility. I know how great it could be from what I've seen, from my education, like from what I've discovered throughout the years. And I felt that that option is so important to have, to know about at least. I just started to research, and I have found out I was pregnant pretty late. I was 6 or 7 weeks when I found out. So I thought it was still like early on, but pretty much when I started calling midwives that are doing home birth, I have come to realize that it's very much on demand. I think since COVID hit, so people really, like women really feel much more comfortable in their own house. And I'm happy to hear that, but it was almost impossible for me to find a midwife that was still available. So I'm gonna explain what I have found out. Obviously, there's a lot more information, but I just want to give you the major important things that you should know, I feel like, to make the best decision for you. And obviously keep on researching and just call midwives that are doing home birth and find out from them. First of all, you need to know that there are a few certifications. There is a CM, which is certified midwife. There is CNM, certified nurse midwife, and CPM, certified professional midwife. And there are a few others that are different in each state, but these are like the main certification in order to be like a midwife that delivers babies. So from my research, I have found out that CPM is the highest certification, the highest credentials for a midwife that want to do home births, any birth outside of the hospital. Basically, it was the most important thing for us to have like a CPM. So as soon as I found out, I started searching. I think I was like 9 weeks pregnant. I was just like devastated because I couldn't find anyone to be either available or a CPM, or something was wrong each time. You can compromise on something like that. And it's funny because when you're going to a hospital, you don't even know who's going to be there unless your doctor is actually there. That wasn't the case for me the first time around. She couldn't come, it was her day off, so I ended up with an amazing midwife. But I really wanted to, at least because I'm hiring someone privately, I want to really have all the boxes checked. I tried to call the first midwife I ever called again, and the first time around she never answered. But something about her profile felt like she's my midwife, she has to be my midwife. So I decided to give it another chance and called again. She immediately answered, and she was available right away, and we met like a couple of days later. I was already, I think at that point, 11 weeks, so it was like a miracle, really. I felt like so good about it. So in terms of costs, I know it's different in every state. I know it's different in every like city. It ranges between $2,500 to like $6,000. It really depends on how much care you want from the midwife. But the most average package, if you can call it, it's funny. My husband Lior said it felt like you're buying, you know, your wedding package. Like if you're gonna have a photographer, if you're gonna have like a placenta thing, if you're gonna have like that and that. So it was really funny because it really felt that way. But the average cost is $4,000 from what I have researched, and I was talking to like maybe 12 midwives. They all said the same thing. With my son Fox, I had it in mind, but because my husband didn't feel comfortable going that route the first time around, and I kind of agreed because I didn't know my body. I just want to make sure that I'm in a safe environment, and that time I felt like hospital was a better, safer environment for me. So I remember that time I thought it probably would be like over 10 or 15 grand. Like I just thought that might be the price. I'm talking like United States prices. I know in Europe you must be looking and be like, what? Anyway, I thought it would be like a lot more expensive, so it was another reason why I didn't even like look into it. But now I really want to spread the word. It can be so much cheaper than a hospital birth. It's so amazing to have such an affordable, amazing option that I didn't know was existed up until like a couple of months ago. So I think I covered everything except from what the packages actually include. Again, each package is different. Basically, they are taking care of you, like giving you a prenatal care throughout your pregnancy, exactly the same as the hospital midwife will do. Some of them will include the anatomy scan. Some, like most of them, will not, so you'll need to do that through your like insurance, through your like the hospital or whatever you want to do. And also labs are not part of this whole care. It's pretty much when you go to the midwife in the hospital, she just like check and like talk to you and see that everything sounds and feels right. Like it's the same amount of appointments throughout your pregnancy as the hospital midwife will do. And then in terms of like labor and delivery, you basically call them. It's in your house, in your home, in your apartment, wherever you want to deliver in. Basically, they will come to your house, and I'm saying they because usually it's not just the midwife that you are closing with. She always have one extra person at least to come with her as a team to deliver your baby, to help deliver your baby. Some of the places that I called had like a 4 people team, which I didn't like. I wanted just like the bare minimum amount of people coming into my house being part of this like scenario. I wanted it to be really, really intimate. Most of the midwives that I called are just like a team of 2, the midwife and assistant. They're coming over and they're with you until you deliver your baby. They will talk to you about options, about like things after birth, which is, you know, how you want to keep your placenta, how you want to cut the cord, how you want to, like all those things, delayed cord clamping and all those things. Usually it's pretty much very holistic minded, because most of the women who go through that route has the same kind of mindset, and they need to do whatever you want unless there is a problem that they can't help you with, and then they transfer you to the hospital. After birth, they will do all the checkups that you would do at the first 6 weeks. So you have like this whole extra care within like the package of just $4,000, like pretty much. They will also talk to you what happens if there is like an issue. Most of the issues they can kind of like know before they're happening, so they can transfer you like not urgent in an ambulance, but usually you can just go and continue the care in the hospital. But sometimes it's like an emergency. Usually it's like after the delivery or right at the delivery that they found a concerning thing, and then they call an ambulance. But again, talk to the midwife, because I don't want to say something that I'm not entirely sure with a specific midwife, with your location. It depends on so many things, but that's pretty much how it works. Closing that chapter, I want to talk about what's my plan. Home birth doesn't have to be a home water birth. I know it was so amazing the first time around, and the main reason why I want to do a home birth is to do the actual delivery in the water. I don't know how I will feel like, but I wanted that option to be available for me. That's my plan, like my loose plan, because you never know what's gonna happen. But if everything goes well, I am dreaming about it to be really calm, seeing like dim lighting and like calm music and my husband there. I hope someone will be able to take care of my son Fox, just so my husband and I can really bond and have like a calming environment, which can be really tricky with a toddler around. Honestly, I just want the midwife there to notice if something goes wrong. That's what makes me feel safe, and being in my own house, in my own place, under my own terms with my husband, and no, you know, scary doctors coming in and out and you not knowing what they're gonna say, what they're gonna do to you. Yeah, I just wanted that peaceful, quiet environment, and I'm sure that our body works the best in that way. Again, as long as there is no like potential risk. Obviously, I don't want to be cut like to deliver the baby. A lot of the things that, you know, you need to really be adamant and mention it a few times sometimes in a hospital environment, the home midwife will never do, especially without asking you. They will like ask you everything before they do it. You can say no to anything, unless again there's a really risk that's been going on. So yeah, that's basically my plan, to do as little intervention as possible. But in terms of like unique things to do after birth, delayed cord clamping, I feel like it's pretty standard now, like a lot of people do that, but that's something that I obviously will do again. And I'm not sure, I'm trying to like look for really cool ceremonies. I'm gonna give you like an example. So I read that there is such a thing that instead of like cutting the cord, you can burn the cord. It's like a whole ceremony, and it means like bring the child into this world more quietly, more like slowly, because cutting is very abruptly and like aggressive. I really like that. I might do that. But anyway, I'm looking for cool things to do. I actually have a plan for my placenta as well. I might like do like a cool painting with it. It looks like a tree of life because of all the veins, and I think for me as an artistic person that might be a lot more powerful for me specifically. And so I'm just checking all the options. If you have any cool things that you've heard or you've done, I would love to hear all the stories down in the comments. It's so unique, especially in different like countries and cultures. There are so many unique ceremonies or traditions that people do after birth with the baby, the cord, the placenta. And I just feel like I want to know it all and decide what meaning means more for me, and just try one or two traditions as like a cool keepsake or just like a memory. I think I covered everything I wanted. I'm sure I probably missed a few things, but I want to leave it open. If you have any questions, I would love to open a discussion about it. I feel like it's really important. So I would love to talk to you down in the comments or in my DMs on my Instagram, which I'm gonna have here. And I think that's it. If you liked this video and found it helpful and maybe useful, so make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, because there are going to be a lot more birth talks and planning and preparing for this new baby. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to see you soon in my next video. Bye.